Just making sure I'm on the camera. So, welcome everybody. Quite lovely to see so many people here tonight. Got a second talk in Gayatriprana's visit to Adelaide. For those of you who don't know, Gayatriprana is a very senior nun now of Sri Sharada Math. She came to Sydney in 1982, along with revered Pravrajika Gayatriprana Mataji, to start the first centre outside India of Sri Sharada Math, the women's wing of the Ramakrishna order. So she's played quite a historical role in the history of the Sharada Math. The topic for her talk tonight is contentment, how to attain it. And after the talk, there's time for some questions and answers. And then we'll conclude with listening to a guided meditation by revered Gayatriprana Mataji, who many of you remember fondly. We'll play that to him. And just to let you know that the Ramakrishna Sharada Vedanta Society of South Australia, who brings the nuns here to Adelaide, they have fortnightly discussions, which you're always welcome to attend, in the home of Nirmala and David Koo. And please see Nirmala afterwards, and she can note your name if you'd like to be on that list to be kept informed about their meetings. Also, we've got donation plate here. That's to help fund the visits of Gayatriprana, her sister nun in Sydney. And we do bring from time to time visiting nuns from India to Sydney, and they also always come here and give some talks in Adelaide too. Tomorrow, we've got an afternoon session at Nirmala and David Koo's. Gayatriprana will be giving a talk on inner stability. Again, there'll be questions and answers. And then there will be a guided meditation, a little talk on meditation after that. And it will conclude with afternoon tea. And of course, tonight, Anjan and Nitin, of course, invite you all to stay back for dinner. By the way, in case you didn't know already, you're most welcome to stay back for dinner. So I think without further delay, we'll start. Well, just one more thing. We're going out live on Zoom, and it's being recorded. It's going to be put up on the Vedanta Society of New South Wales YouTube channel. I'll probably do that tomorrow, so you can revisit this talk tonight and let your friends know. So without further delay, it's much a pleasure to give the talk.
Please let me know if it's too hot to do food. I can adjust the temperature.
And let us know if you're having trouble hearing. I've requested Gayatriprana to have to speak a bit louder. I'm conscious of the people at the back and a bit of the traffic noise.
Thank you.
Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Contentment and how we are going to attain it. We all want to be happy and contented. That's everybody's aim. But we can definitely say that only two types of people are fully contented. At one extreme, there is the baby. When its physical needs are all satisfied, it's fully contented. Now, just like the baby, there are adults, grown-ups, who are contented with their living conditions, their surroundings, without making any effort to improve their lives and surroundings. So that means they are merely existing. Just like the baby, they are merely existing. They are immersed in inertia, tamas. That's not the state that we want. At the other extreme, there are very few people who have worked hard, struggled a lot in their lives, and are contented because they have learned that everything comes from God and they are ready to accept whatever God gives. They have learned that good and bad both comes from God. They have worked hard, they have struggled through life, and then learn that everything comes from God and they accept, so they're contented because everything is God's gift, God's grace. They are completely surrendered to the divine will. But the rest of humanity, we are between these two extremes. Between these two extremes, the rest of humanity are all discontented to varying degree. That's all. Some may be more contented, some may be less discontented. That's all. But everybody is discontented. The main cause of discontentment and unhappiness is the continual disturbance of our mind by innumerable desires. When one desire is fulfilled, there is temporary cessation of the disturbance in the mind. And because the disturbance is stopped for the time being, we get happiness. But soon another one comes up. Another desire comes up, and again the mind is back in the disturbed state of mind. Now this gap between the two desires, one is fulfilled, the next one hasn't come up. That small gap is what we call happiness. Now, if we can increase that gap between the two, one desire finished and the other desire coming up, if we can increase that gap, small gap, slowly, then we'll be enjoying more and more happiness. Otherwise, we are all discontented. So at times, we all feel that there is no desire. My mind is free from desire. It's sometimes feel there's no disturbance. No, mind is free from desire. There is no disturbance. But don't be very sure that you are free from desire. For the time being, the mind is free from desire, but soon there'll be more coming up from the subconscious mind. Soon, even before you realize, some other desire will come up from subconscious mind and you are disturbed. And because even though there is no desire, sometimes for no reason we feel discontent. Everything is going smooth. Life is, everything fine. Your work, your family, everything smooth. Still you feel a discontentment. That is because those desires are within the subconscious mind. They are lurking there. They are just waiting for an opportunity to come up. And at the most unexpected moment, they will come up and then throw you off balance. And these selfish desires are the cause of all our unhappiness. That is why Buddha termed desire, tanha, as the second noble truth. When he speaks about the four noble truths, yesterday we said the first noble truth was suffering. The life is full of suffering. And second noble truth is the cause of suffering is tanha, desire. So as long as there is desire, we will be having problem. And we are constantly running after more and more things because we think that if we have accumulate more things, material objects, we'll be happy. But we see in life, real life, we see that with all the wealth, goods, all the enjoyments, people are not happy. We we try for more and more achievement. We get a bigger house, better job, the latest model car, the more expensive holiday or cruise. We want everything. The list is long. And this greed is another big obstacle for contentment. because we are always looking for the other one. What we have got in this mad rush, we don't have time to enjoy the good blessings that we have got. We have got a lot of good blessings. We have got health, a roof overhead, not just a roof, but a comfortable home, a happy family, peaceful community and society. We don't have time to enjoy all those blessings. We are always looking at getting more things. And even with all these things, when we are running after more and more things, then we are sure to meet with disappointments, because we expect more things from others. We expect a certain type of behavior from other people. And when we fail to meet that standard, we are disappointed, we are unhappy. But are we doing what others are expecting from us? Then we say, no, we have got excuses. And the more we expect, the more disappointments are sure to come. And this, trying to fulfill all this bucket list of desires, and we fail, we meet obstacles, we fail. So that is why it's good to remember the words of Alexander Pope when he said, "Blessed is he who expects nothing, for he shall never be disappointed." If you don't expect anything from people, others, then we won't have any disappointments. We'll be happy. It is the expectation. We want others to behave in a certain way. We want the society to deal with us in a certain way. And most often, in most of the cases, that expectation is not fulfilled. Then we are unhappy, we grumble, we complain. And suppose we have all these things, we are still discontent, because we compare our achievement with our friends, our neighbors. Oh, they got a better house. They have gone on a longer cruise, or they have got a better holiday. I didn't get. We feel jealous. With all these things, we are not happy. We are not contented. So it's not the circumstances or material possession that brings contentment, but a change in our mindset. We say global family, but we are concerned about our selfish interests. We talk about climate change, but we are not ready to sacrifice a little bit of our comfort to do for that, to help in that environment. We want others to do, but we are not ready to. Unless we change our mindset, we won't have contentment, we won't have happiness. It will continue. That is why, and unless we have peace within us, we can't expect peace externally. Everybody may have, there will be peace, but when your mind is disturbed, discontented, then you won't have enjoy any peace. And when you don't have peace, you cannot have happiness. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, "Ashantasya kuta sukham." If the person who is peaceless, without any peace, how can the person have happiness? So one thinker says, until you make peace with who you are, you will never be content with what you have. Until you make peace with who you are, you will never be content with what you have. You may have everything in the world that the world can give, but still you won't be, because you are not happy with what you are. So we have to learn to be contented with what we have and our surrounding and situation. we find ourselves in. That means we have to have less desires. Now, absence of desire is going to give us happiness, but isn't that a neutral state? Like a no desire, like a log of wood or stone, without any joy or happiness. It is, we all know it is desires that bring us joy and also sorrow. Now, if you are free from desires, then you'll be free from joy and misery. Isn't it a very, neutral state? Without, just like with the wall. The wall doesn't have joy or misery. Let us see what Patanjali says. In the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali lists contentment, santosha, as one of the virtues in niyama. See, the 8 steps of in the Yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, 8 limbs. The first one is yama, the second one is niyama. And niyama, the 5 of them, contentment, santosha is one of that. And he defines contentment as saying, from contentment comes superlative happiness, supreme happiness from contentment. Now, how can a state without joy or sorrow give supreme happiness? If you don't have any joy and sorrow, what do you mean by supreme happiness? But Patanjali says, if a perfectly calm mind can reflect within itself the inherent bliss which is within us, which is our real nature. Our real nature is bliss. Our true nature, in Vedanta we say, Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Our real nature is bliss. And that bliss is within every one of us, and that can manifest when the mind is calm. Now, if say the water is calm, clear surface, without any disturbance, then you can see the reflection properly. But if the surface of the water is disturbed, broken into waves, you cannot see any reflection. The reflection is all broken. Now, the real self, full of bliss, that's our real nature, is not manifesting. We are not able to see that because our mind is disturbed. The surface of the mind lake is constantly disturbed, is broken into waves. So that is why we are not able to see it. And when the mind is free from desire, then the lake surface is steady, calm. Then we experience the happiness which is within every one of us, the bliss which is within everyone, within us, without any external circumstances. Even we are maybe living in a hut, having just 1 meal a day, just clothes to cover the body, still we will be happy, contented, because we are tapping into that source of bliss which is within us. For that, we have to be free from desires. That is why Holy Mother, Sri Sharada Devi, asks us to pray for desirelessness. Pray for desirelessness. We pray to God for so many things, all selfish desires. But she's asking us to pray for desirelessness. Make me free from desires. Does that mean that we should not strive for anything? We just simply sit and saying that I'm free from, Holy Mother asked us to be free from desire. So I won't strive to get anything in life. That is being contented with the circumstances we find ourselves to be in. That's the depth of tamas, inertia. We have to strive hard. We have to strive hard, try to achieve success in your life. establish yourself. After striving hard, then whatever be the results you're getting, be happy with it. That is why we often say what Gayatriprana Maharaj used to say, expect the greatest, the best, the highest. So work for that. That is your goal. You keep that as your goal and work towards that. Then you have put in maximum effort to achieve that. Then whatever happens, you accept it. There are many factors, which is many things which is beyond your control. So accept what will happen, what comes, the result, and then adjust your life accordingly. And for that, we have to have hope. I'm going to achieve the highest, and I work towards that. Suppose I didn't get it, do I go to the depth of my disappointment and misery? No. I have done my work. I have worked hard. Well, this is the result. It's the result I am getting. There may be some reason why I didn't get the result I expected. That's fine. I accept it and adjust my life accordingly and then go forward. So we have to be careful not to, or we have to be realistic. We have to have hope and desire for things and situations within our reach, and which are beyond our capacity. We must be ready to give up. Simply hoping, if I say I want to go to the moon, I know it will never happen, and then I become unhappy because I couldn't achieve it. Be realistic. What can struggle hard, strive your maximum, and then accept it. Accept and adjust. So there's a saying by a Chinese sage. He says, the secret of contentment is knowing how to enjoy what you have and to be able to lose all desires for things beyond your reach. The secret is how to be happy with what you have. You have struggled hard, worked hard, and then be happy with that. And give up desire for all things which are beyond your reach. Because that is only giving you disappointment and misery. Oh, I didn't get it. And others are getting. You feel jealousy and make yourself miserable. So give that up. That is the secret of contentment. And we have to have this contentment, to have the calm, contented mind, which is essential for making us happy. We have to have faith. Faith is very important. Hold on to great virtues of purity, truthfulness, and faith. Faith that God is our own. If you believe that God is our own, then we can be sure that whatever happens to us is for our good. A person who loves you very much won't do any harm to you. Person who cares for your welfare will never harm you. Whatever that person does is for your good. Maybe apparently it appears to be harmful to you. That doesn't mean it is really harming you. See, you have got some problem, you go to the doctor, and now the doctor cuts you, operates. Do you think the doctor is harming you? You know the doctor is doing that for your good. So why don't we accept in the same way what God does if something bad happens to us? If you really believe God is our own, have the faith that God is our own, then we will accept everything that comes to us, good and bad, because God never would want anything bad to happen to us. Apparently, for the time being, it's bad. Just like the doctor cutting the wound. It hurts. Or a child comes, something, thorn has pricked. You try to take the mother takes try to remove the thorn. It hurts. The child cries. But does the child think that mother is harming the child? He knows that if the thorn has to be removed, even if it pains. The same way, whatever our bad tendencies or impressions has to be removed, our impurities of the mind has to be removed. That is why we are getting this particular disappointment or suffering. If we have that faith, if we accept that, then we will be contented. There is a song in Bengali. I forgot to look at the name of the writer of the song. It starts with saying, Jani tumi mangalamai. I know that you care for my welfare. So whether you keep me in a good position or difficulties, whatever be the situation, I know you care for me. You are always doing best for me. Whether it is happiness or misery. But only one thing I pray to you, don't leave me out of your mind. If we may forget God, but if God remembers us, when Holy Mother was alive, when some of the devotees you say, Mother, don't forget me. I may forget you, but please don't forget me. We may go away, but if God holds your hand, as Sri Ramakrishna says, the child holding the hand of the father and walking along the road, see something nice on the roadside, the grip may loosen and child may stumble and fall down. But if the father is holding the child's hand, and if the father is looking at something on the roadside, the grip becomes stronger. The grip on the child's hand, the father's grip becomes stronger, that the child won't fall down. So if we hold on to God, then we won't have any problem. That faith we should have. God is always holding my hand. Whether I'm in good position or bad, I'm in happiness or misery, He is doing that for my welfare. That faith we should have. So I won't have any fear because God is always holding my hand. That leads us to the idea of resignation to the Lord's will or surrender to the divine will. As Sri Ramakrishna says, be like the leaf. Wherever the wind blows, the leaf falls down there. Or like the kitten. The kitten knows only to sit there and mew, mew. Mother cat takes the kitten and maybe one day, sometimes put it on the master's bed, sometimes maybe be in the near the fireplace in the kitchen. But wherever the mother puts, the kitten sits and only cries. If it is some sort of discomfort, it just mews. If we have that, then we will be completely happy, contented, because we know that God is doing whatever we need, not whatever we want, whatever we need. There's a difference between need and want. We may want many things, which may not be good for us. But God knows what is good for us, what we need. So God will give us that. That faith we should have. God is our own. Now, when we speak about this contentment, there is a different type of aspect to contentment when it comes to the spiritual side. In spiritual life, they say, don't be contented with your surrounding, with your state of spiritual progress. There we are asked to cultivate discontentment, going right to the opposite. All this time we are talking about attaining contentment. Now, when we come to the spiritual state, they say, try to don't be contented with your spiritual progress. Then people often start on a spiritual path, do some spiritual japa, repetition, meditation, prayer, all that, and may make some progress even. And then some people have some experience, and if they think they have attained the goal and happy, then that's an obstacle to the progress, because they are mistaken notion that they have attained the goal. That's like a child started learning alphabets. No, how to learn the alphabets, reading, writing. Oh, I have learned everything. The child thinks like that. That's the state. If you think that you can sit for half an hour without the mind wandering, and you think you're progress far in the spiritual path. No, there's a lot to go forward. So Swami Brahmananda says, contentment with external condition. Yes, we have to be content with wherever you are, whatever. After you have struggled, as I said earlier, you have struggled hard, you have worked hard, then be contented with what the state of your situation, surroundings, but never be contented with your state of spiritual progress, spiritual growth. Become dissatisfied. Try to move onward in your search. Do not stop until you have found the diamond mine. This is a reference to the story that Sri Ramakrishna speaks of. He says, many of you may know that story. A woodcutter had gone to the forest to cut woods. So he was cutting wood. Every day he brings the wood to the market, and that is his livelihood, sell the wood. Then one day he saw a holy man who told him, go forward. What do you mean go forward? Anyway, after a few days, he thought, the man asked me to go forward, let me see. He went forward in the forest and found a grove of sandalwood trees. Now, sandalwood is very expensive. So he cut a few trees and brought to the market, sold it, got a lot of money. He was very happy. Then he continued that. Then he suddenly thought, well, he didn't ask me to stop at the sandalwood forest. He asked me to go forward. Let me go forward. Then he found a copper mine. He got more wealth. Then after a few days, he still went forward. Silver mine, gold mine. Then a mine full of diamonds and other precious stones. He became extremely rich. So in spiritual path, there's a lot of things go forward. So never be contented with your state of spiritual progress. There's more and more and more. That's why he says, until you do not stop until you have found the diamond mine of spiritual progress, spiritual experiences. That diamond mine is your realization that you are that infinite Atman. You are one with that infinite Atman, the source of all bliss, the source of all strength, source of all knowledge. That is our real nature. That realization is, we can say, that is the end of the spiritual path or spiritual journey. The same idea is given by Saint Augustine when he said, we are made for God and will be dissatisfied until we have God in our hearts. We are made for God and will be dissatisfied until we have God in our hearts. Now we all say, we have God in our hearts. Yes, that's only lip service. Do we really feel that God is present within us? If we really feel that God is within us, then God is within all of us, then we won't be having any difficulty with other people. Now, we get upset with just one word from other person, we get upset. And so all this, what we say, we have to absorb and make it our own. we have to assimilate it. In intellectual understanding, that's the first step. That's not the final. Final goal is to make it our own, make it one with us, and put it in our life, daily, everyday life, practice it. And we have to develop spiritual hunger, yearning for God realization. And Sri Ramakrishna showed in his life how the hunger should be. At the end of the day, he used to weep and cry. Another day has gone, and I haven't realized you. And Sri Ramakrishna says, if you have the restlessness, the yearning of a child for its mother, the love of attraction, 3 attractions, if you can combine, you will realize God, he says. What are the 3 attractions? The first one is child's attraction for its mother. The second one, the attraction of the miser for his wealth. And the third one, the attraction of the chaste wife for her husband. When you combine these 3 attractions and turn it to God, then you will realize God. It's very hard. It's all easy to say, but at least first you have to hear. That is why in Vedanta we say, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. First you hear about all these things, then you think about it, try to understand it, assimilate it, and then make it one with us. Nididhyasanam, deeply meditate on it and make it one with us and try to put it into practice. And that is for this discontentment we are asked to cultivate only for spiritual life. But in ordinary daily life, we have to strive hard and then accept everything as gift from God, God's grace, and be happy, be contented with that.
All right, let's kind of questions and answers.
If we say you have to be desireless, that is also end of growth.
Desireless,
You grow if you have a desire to grow.
desire for growth. Desire for growth means in which way?
In growth of any area, so in growth of your not just your spiritual learning, but also in terms of family, in terms of.
That is why I said earlier, we have to strive hard.
We can't hear the question.
Desirelessness, if you say, then if you don't have any desire, there can't be any growth. So that is why I said, no, we have to work hard, strive hard, and then accept what you get. This constant desire, unending desires, that is causing the mental disturbance. Because one desire is fulfilled, immediately the next one comes. And fulfilling desire, you can never get rid of the desires. You fulfill one desire, 10 are already there to come to the forefront. And you fulfill those, 100 will come next. So fulfilling desires is not the way to get rid of desires. Simple desires, of course, you can fulfill. But you reason out, is this, if I fulfill this desire, is it going to harm me or harm anybody else? You have asked the question, and if the answer is yes, no, then you reason out, no, this is harmful desire, I won't go for it. If it's a simple desire, I want to go for a walk, fulfill it. The
question, I think what she's saying is that to have growth,
You need to have desire.
Yes, you have to have desire. That's what I'm explaining. This we have to strive hard for growth. We expect the highest. So when we have expecting the highest, we have got a goal. We have got a your desire is there. I want to achieve this. I want to get the highest marks in the student. Your position. You want to get promotion and go higher. You expect everything and work towards that. Then accept what happens after you have worked hard. So desire is needed. But excessive what Polymer is saying, pray for desirelessness is to grow on the spiritual path. But first you have to establish yourself, have your, as said yesterday, being established in righteousness, dharma, have dharma, artha and kama, wealth, prosperity, and all the pleasures, being established in dharma. So for that you need desire. And desire by itself, when it is rooted on dharma, it is not harmful. Because Sri Krishna says in the Gita, I am the desire which is unopposed to dharma. So he identified himself as the desire in human beings, which is unopposed to dharma. So being established in dharma, you can have desire. Make sure that your desire is not going against the values that you hold.
So that is the desire is a function of when we are in a waking stage. What happens when we are sleeping? Does the desire come at that time also?
The desires are still there. They haven't gone anywhere. They are in the subconscious mind. And in the subconscious mind, those desires come up in this dream state as a dream. Unfulfilled desires, they come up as a dream.
They are coming there also.
Yeah. We are not free from them.
Dr. Pravrajika, regarding being discontented with your spiritual progress. Now, meditation's quite a challenge for people. I know a lot of people can become very discouraged with their meditation practices, with the pace of our life and the amount of distractions. So shouldn't we be quite forgiving and gentle on ourselves, especially when it comes to meditation? We have to accept sometimes we won't seem like, it seems like we're not really making any progress or it's really doing anything for us either.
No, we have to be gentle with us, but at the same time, we should make sure we have to push ourselves. Otherwise, if you are trying to be gentle, the mind is very tricky. One day you say, today I'm really tired. So today I might skip my meditation. Then the next day, you're not so tired, literally, but the mind will say, no, I'm still tired. It happens. So the mind is very, very tricky. We have to be very careful with our mind. It's very, very tricky. Holy Mother says, when she all these things we learn from them as guide. She says one day she was very, very sick. So she couldn't get up at 3 o'clock as she used to get up and sit for meditation. Then 2 days, 3 days passed. Suddenly she realized it's all right, but still the mind is playing the trick. I'm sick.
We were discussing about desires and what Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Mata Devi, what they mentioned in regards to like desire. For example, our ultimate aim is to get out of the cycle of life and death. So, and our desire should be concentrated towards that instead of getting desire for materialistic or things which traps you inside the cycle of life and death. So, do we think that having desire for getting promotions or desire for getting a new car makes more sense, or desire for getting more and more knowledge, like the example you gave, the woodcutter, he had a desire that if someone told him that he had to go there, and then he desired to get more, and finally he got a diamond mine. So diamond mine is basically the spiritual realization
Yeah.
that we are like working for. So my question is, why do we need to have desire for materialistic thing when we, after having going so many lives and death, we are born as a human being and we desire to get out of this life?
That desire to get out of this life doesn't come to everybody. First, we have to go through enjoyments. Only then the desire will come. The desire will come to get out of desires. Get out the desire to get out of free from the cycle of birth and death. So first, we have to go through enjoyments. To have enjoyments, we have to have all these achievements. You have to be successful in life. We have to have good health, a family, all that. Those enjoyments we have to go through. Without going through the enjoyments, you cannot go beyond a state of enjoyment. Like a child is playing with the toys. You to ask the child not to play with the toys, the child will get upset. But the child has grown up, it's no longer interested in the toys. So you have to go through that stage. It's a stage in our progress. So we all have to go through that. Some people have already gone through that stage, so they are beyond a state, they are not interested. Some people are just come to that stage, they have to go through that enjoyment. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna says there has to be satiety with enjoyments. Unless there is satiety with enjoyment, they cannot go beyond a state of enjoyment. We have to have. And that's another saying, religion is not for empty stomach. You are starving, you are hungry. People go with asking you to go and pray to God or meditate. No. Fasting, it's different. Fasting, your choice. But you're poor, you don't have any food. You cannot talk about religion. First, you have to fulfill that desire, that the hunger. That's all the basic necessities have to be fulfilled. Only then the desire to be free from the life, the cycle of birth and death will happen.
Well, I have one question in regards to, you mentioned about holding hand of God, like, so what the definition of God, which I understood in the past 1 year, I'm getting to know about Vedanta. So is it God means that God, or is it the Guru who helps us to cross the ocean, the river?
Guru and God are one. God has come in the form of the Guru to help you in a human form. There is actually a Guru is nothing but God. So you can, when we say hold on to the hand of God, you can imagine a particular, any aspect of God, any particular form of God that we like, or you can think about your Guru. That doesn't make any difference because the Guru and God are one. Sri Ramakrishna says again and again, Guru is nothing but Satchidananda, taken a human form for my sake. So they say, don't look upon your Guru as a human being. Guru, that's so human free. Of course, we can contact, we can communicate with a human person only, human being only. In corporeal form, we cannot contact. So God has taken a human form for me to communicate. And that's my Guru. In the Guru Gita, they say, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshwara. Guru Deva Param Brahma. So Guru is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Shiva, and Guru is Sakshat Param, Supreme Brahman. And this human being, you say, a human being with a human form, with all the hunger, sleep, just like behaving like a human being, just like us, is part of Supreme Brahman. So that is why that Supreme Brahman within taken a human form for my sake.
But if the Guru is not within us, like it's not, I should be rephrasing it. The Guru is not with us, like
Physical form.
the physical form, because the reason why Guru is that the God himself takes a human form just to explain us that, okay, yes, a human being, these are the difficulties you have to face and how you will get out of it. Since the Guru is, for example, Sri Ramakrishna Param he's not with us. So we have different centers, Saradama Center and Sri Ramakrishna Swami Vivekananda Center. So the Deshikam, if I'm correct, if I'm sort of telling it properly, Deshikam or Deshika, who sort of helps us in sort of teaching us what Guru has already taught them. So do we sort of need to open the book where we have the gospel, for example, the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where we have his every life, everything that he has done. But if we have a gospel, why we need to have a Deshikam then? Deshikam or Deshika?
Some people like human contact, and also in the book, Sri Ramakrishna has given so many things. Advice to different people is different. Whereas you are talking to a person directly, that person knows your temperament and give you advice what is suited for you. That is the value of the teacher. As in the Upanishad, so many things are given. Because it's given in a general way, covering all type of temperaments. So what is suited for you, that person who you are dealing with you, they will understand. Deshika means you mean the teacher. Yeah. Like if you look at the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, he is giving different advice to different people. And there's a difference. Because depending upon the temperament of the person, and all sorts of people used to come to him. There's followers of Vishnu, followers of Shiva, followers of Divine Mother, what Sri Ramakrishna calls the modern Brahmajanis, followers of the Brahma Samaj. Then there is the followers, the Sikh faith, especially the soldiers who were in the barracks next door to the Kali temple. Then there's Christians. All different people came, and the modern young men, college students who are skeptics, who didn't believe anything. So depending upon the person to whom he is talking, his advice changes.
Tell me, in country like Somalia and Ethiopia, people are dying. Most people are dying. They can't get enough food or drinks, they don't have water. And who is looking after them? Which God?
Which God?
Yeah.
Who is looking after? There are not many gods are there. Only one God is there.
So why is those people dying there?
Why are people dying there? There is no answer for that.
Same question.
Yeah.
What's happening in Russia?
There's no answer to that. We can say karma, but that's not the. It's not the real answer. Yeah, we say, well, it's their karma, but that sounds very, very cruel and callous. When somebody is suffering and you say that's their karma, that's not the right thing to say.
Mataji, in situations like that,
where we cannot have a direct single answer. Isn't it worth just for us when we think of them to pray for
Yes.
their strength, for them to go through what they're going through?
Yes, yes. That is why there we have a prayer, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May the world be happy and prosperous. We are praying for the whole world. That we say every day, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May the world be happy and prosperous. For everybody. There is no my people or your people or strangers, no, for the whole world. In many situations, if you are in a situation where you can help them directly, help. But there are many situations where you can't help. So what do you do then? Pray for them. Send good thoughts. Pray for them. Or say that they may have strength to go through that.
Well, of course, we know in our spiritual evolution, suffering plays an important role, prodding us to try and resolve that, and through that we progress. What I never quite get, so I can accept that and appreciate that. What always causes consternation for me is the degree of suffering that some people go through. I can, and then we have the concept of Maya, and it's all a divine play, and so on. And I often wonder, okay, yes, we need suffering to stand the paper of evolution, but when you look at what people go through in the course of their evolution to grow, and you think, isn't God kind of overdoing it?
See, everybody has got their share of suffering. Those people whom we are seeing suffering so much, maybe they have got everything together. Some others will be having suffering all through their life little bit. Some people have lump sum suffering all through for a short time, suffer a lot. Then they may be going through a peaceful time. Some people have suffering all through, just like illness. Some people have got ill health all through their life, something or other lingering. Some people have good life, healthy for some time, and then suddenly some big disease, illness come. So everybody has got their share, and nobody is free from. And those people whom we see suffering a lot, don't think that they won't have some happy time. They will have their share of happiness. Those people whom we see in Africa and all those places suffering, they have their share of happiness also. But we see that compared to what the rest of the world is going through, they are suffering physically more. But the other people are suffering mentally more, which we don't see. So suffering is a.
If you accept it, those sufferings, I mean, at the end of the day, you mentioned that we have to accept it.
Yes.
But have we reached that climax to accept that in that situation? But coming to apart from Hinduism, there are other religions like in Buddhism. In China, Buddha manifests itself as Guan Yin in a female form, because that is acceptable to the Chinese people more than Buddha. In Japan, it's again different. So what we're saying, like my father's house has many doors. It all depends which door you want to come in. Each door has different scripture. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's one God. And in the world, we can accept that that's one God. And irrespective whether you're Hindu, you're Buddhist, you're anything, we are entering different doors. Let's make it is one God.
It sounds funny when people say my God and your God. How can there be many gods? Even in this world, we have got only one sun. The same air we all breathe. We don't have Australian air and New Zealand air. Plainly, that's different. The air that we breathe, the same. And then we talk about my God and your God.
Well, talking about God, I'm increasingly aware there's a big movement around the world, people delving into yoga and meditation, and especially the modern mind and the younger people. Many of them are pursuing all of that, and they're not having any God at all. They are doing the practices. They're spiritually minded, but they don't. The concept of God doesn't appeal to them. So they're working their way around it. I wonder, are they being too smart, or is it got
No,
great
because
value?
they still got the idea that God is a person. God is a person.
Moved away from that.
And
Yes, yeah.
God is not a God is we in the beginning we need some people need the idea of God as a person, but the way it is presented, if you do something wrong, God is going to punish you. If you do something good, God is going to reward you. Whether punishment and reward is the result of your action. God is not there to sit and do all these things for you, because our idea is God is within us.
I thought this subject of God is there or not. After my meditation, I came to a conclusion, it is a belief. Either you have it or you don't have it. And is it good for me to believe in God, or is it good for me not to believe in God? What helps me more?
It's up to you.
So I came to the conclusion, it helps me more if I believe in God.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
fine.
can surrender to a God,
Yeah.
I have left everything to Him. Whatever happens, I'm happy. And second most important thing is, I can divert my mind from materialistic life towards the spiritual life. So that takes me away from.
Yeah.
These are two advantages I see myself, and I think I believe in God.
When we say we believe in God, that means we are thinking of God as with
Concept that there is something there.
a form, yeah,
Well, not necessarily form, there is no power.
yeah, and
You can give it a
with
shape,
qualities,
but
with qualities, because that's why we pray and we surrender, so that there's some qualities there. So that we have got in Vedanta, we have got personal God with form, with qualities, personal God without form, with qualities, and God without form, without qualities. So we got all this range. And when God with form, so many forms are there, so many names are there. Whichever is up to each one. Whatever we want, we can think about. We say God created man in his image. Actually, we create God in our image.
End of the day, it is a locus of support. When you are in trouble, you think of God.
Yeah.
That is support, you get it from that particular.
But it's interesting here, isn't it? Where this is a very secular society, and whenever there's any disaster, a lot of people die. Where's the whole focus on the church?
Yeah.
All there in the church,
Praying, yeah.
and they're all looking up to heaven. Yeah.
So God is up there.
Those same people that otherwise never think about it, and they just want to get stupid
Huh.
about it.
Sorry, oh my God. Maybe.
I think you know before, Robert, how, people don't want to know Westerners who God's so word that they're aware of. Maybe subtly, without being aware of it, they are.
Well, I'm thinking they're going to come to that anyway, because they are developing spiritual awareness, so they're going to gradually work it out.
Whether
But,
they like
I
it or
mean,
not.
they know there's something more there, they just don't like the idea of making it
Yeah,
into a
because
God.
the way it is presented,
It's just a-
the church, the way church presents, and so they don't like it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel-
There are two concepts, I mean, basically in terms of godliness in that. I mean, to someone who's ignorant of that, we look at Vishnu as one God, we look at another form. If we appreciate that, we'll say that in fact those are various representation of
Yeah,
God
yeah.
in different form. And it's not just there are 3 gods or 5 gods.
No.
Or in the Chinese mythology, there's so many gods, this and that, and people get confused that in fact there are so many gods. In fact, they are all the same God. Like a man has 10 fingers, but they're not all the same, are they? You might look at thumb, I might look at fingers, and whatever it is, but it's him. So that's where the confusion comes in that situation. What you say is true, but in terms of God, what is God? I think it is non-quantifiable. All you say, we are representative or image of God. It's just like a sunlight. We got sparks. Each one have got a sparks representing God up there, and how we manifest itself. That's where the achievement to be in line with God.
And how much we are manifest. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine. Each soul is potentially divine. That divinity is within us, and the goal is to manifest that divinity. It's there in each and every being. That divinity is there. It's not manifested. In some people, more manifested. Some people less manifested. That's the only difference. And then Vedanta gives the 4 methods to manifest the divinity.
Really, God is formless. I was reading, that's what I'm remembering. I was reading the introduction to Bhagavad Gita by Swami Vivekananda, and if I'm not wrong, Sri Krishna mentioned about, like, ideally God is formless. Just for us to hold on to something, we take a form. Some people take, like, Vishnu as a form. Some people try to hold on to Om or any sign. So if we, like, what I understood, like, as like about Christianity, about Muslims, everything, like, if you just put back, the point is the same. It's holding on to something and understand. It's not, we are now focusing more on the types of what we are holding, but the main focus should be more on getting to know what the main objective our life is, to sort of get out of this life of life.
Cycle of birth and death. Yeah. We have all these fights and differences only about the non-essentials, the rituals, the customs. Many of them are social customs. Many of them are social practices or practices of that particular society. And we hold on to that thing that's a core of religion. That's not.
I think partly because of the teaching. I mean, basically, you look at Christianity and you look at Islam, for example. You cannot, if you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, you cannot say Jesus Christ the same thing as Ramakrishna or something like that.
Yeah.
They don't agree. It's only through them, through their image, can you achieve what you want. But Hinduism is an open class. It's up to you in that situation. And the teaching now, that's where Robert was saying, modern these days are moving towards spirituality. Formulas compared to religious teaching, whereby they say you have to be a Muslim, or you have to be a Christian, or you have to be other things to be able to get there. So a different teaching altogether.
I think with these young people too, there's an expectation. They want to find some change in themselves. They don't want anything, any kind of what's called static piety. They want to grow. They want to find some transformation. That's what they're really after now. It's quite a good trend, really. You should be becoming more peaceful and empathy.
Though this church and they do follow this, do these prayers or attend a church, but what are you gaining? Are you being transformed? Are you your life is being transformed in any way? Your character is changing. The sign of spiritual progress is your character. You're building a strong, positive character. You are becoming more and more unselfish. You're feeling compassion for other people, empathy with others. These are all signs of progress in spiritual life.
You were talking about desire, contentment, expectation. Does it all depend upon the type or the nature of the person? Like if you're sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic,
Yes.
it varies for people.
Yes, yeah, of course it
They
will.
can't hear the question.
The contentment, desires, expectation, does they vary for, does it depend upon the nature of the person? Do they vary for people of sattvic nature, rajasic nature, and tamasic nature? Yes, they do vary. It's different. Each one is different. The person with the sattvic qualities, the desires may be for God realization, desire may be to help others.
Is
Well,
it less as well?
Of course, desires will be less. And for the person with rajasic nature, more active, want to help others, but with the idea of getting name and fame. There's a difference. So I'll become famous if I do so much of social service, I'll become famous. Action is same, but the intent is different. And tamasic person may not be doing anything. Whatever he does for my own self. Or sometimes you don't do it for themselves. Sometimes even for themselves, they are too lazy to do.
Will they have more desires?
They'll have full of desire, but they are too lazy even to fulfill the desire, to strive to fulfill the desire. So that is why when Swami Vivekananda returned from the West in 1897, he gave a lot of lectures from the south to north, wherever he traveled. The lectures from Colombo to Almora is given. And everywhere you can see he scolding Indians left and right. You are immersed in tamas. You are completely immersed in tamas, inertia. And you think you are reached the highest stage of sattva. Extremes look alike. The fan is moving fast. You don't see the blade of the fan moving. And when it is not moving, the same. So extremes look alike. You are immersed in tamas and you think you have reached the higher state. Do something.
What makes people different with these, the 3-4 things that you have described? Are they born with instinctiveness? Is it a biological thing? Is it environmental? What are the different reasons why people are so different?
What is the reason why people are different? Is it they're born with that biological environment? It is mainly the result of our past impressions. We have brought, yes, samskaras. The past impressions. We have, whatever we do, thought, word, or deed, leaves an impression in our mind. Now, by the physiology says it leaves an impression in the brain. And we repeat that, it becomes, those impressions become deeper. The same with the mind, become deeper. And then slowly, it becomes habit. So these, whatever you do, the impressions there, and we had to reap the results.
No, but are we born, if you see different infants, right? They're born, one is very compulsive, or one is a controlled, will not drink. Another one is very playful, sleepy well. They're born. Then you see the differences in neonates when they're born.
Yeah.
Now, would you call it that is a genetic differentiation where that they're born like this? That's one of my questions, that if you have an instinct, if you are mentally retarded, you're not going to be able to achieve so many things. Similarly, if you have an instinct, or like hunger or death or whatever, so many instincts in life, and this is what you have been born, call it born with. Why you're born with it, it's, I suppose, there are many, it's a complex question, and it's a very complex answer. So how do you explain the differences in an infant who's really born and few days after the birth? It is as simple as that. They are different.
That's what I'm trying to say. See, whatever the impressions with us, I have done something. in this life. Now I had to reap the result. I had done some wicked thing or some good thing. Whatever is the result I have to reap the result. Suppose I'm not able to, I don't reap the result in this life.
So you're talking about their past.
Yes,
life and
yeah. So it comes,
reincarnation.
they come with that. So each one has, each baby is born into this world with a bundle of past impressions. That's called past impressions. So that decides how the person grows up, the baby grows up. Now, of course, the environment plays a part, but there's a main thing is the past impression.
We don't have hard evidence for that, do we? That is the point where people get so kind of unsure, and the younger generations are wanting more hard facts than just saying, okay, you have to have faith. They are really saying, why is life so unfair? The day you are conceived, the unfairness of life starts. Where you're conceived, which country you're born, who your parent is, illiterate, or a criminal or a murderer, that from there, you're, and then you say, okay, is it because of your past life? Or how do you come to terms with that?
Hinduism says it's because of your past life.
Yeah.
If you ask for proof, there are many things which you have to have.
Not necessarily proof, but it begs the question that why is life so unfair? We are all living with it.
This sometimes one way to answer that is we don't complain when we have plenty. But we say it's unfair when we look at and we have less.
No, I don't think I'm talking about plenty or less. What I'm really saying is, here you are born in Somalia, you are born with whatever their customs and traditions and practices are. You have no control over it. It's not your wanting plenty or your wanting less. You look at Iran, you look at what the fate of women is there. You look at all the wars, the orphans that are there who have died without any parents. Okay, so you have to come to some sort of assessment or some sort of peace in your own mind. You almost feel selfish and guilty that why do you have so much? So my question really is that how I feel uncomfortable. I say, my God, I've got a roof over my head. I've got a comfortable bed. I can go on a holiday. I can do this. I can do that. Look at this. Tomorrow I hear that this war, Ukraine, is going on and so many children are orphaned. The fathers are fighting. The families have gone away. Why? So, I mean, it's man created. I understand the wars and things like that. But life is unfair. And that is what kind of really, and when we have no way of explaining it, I think religion is a way of displacement. Because you can have 101 religions, you can go to a church, you can go to a temple, you can go anywhere. And you say, look, I can't take this anymore. My brain cannot comprehend this. And therefore, I am coming to you. So therefore, you have that kind of reward that you are no longer having to deal with this in your own head. It becomes a defense of displacement. It's just like the fox says the grapes are too high and they are sour. That's why I don't want them. The grapes might be very sweet. But the reality of it is that it is a defense mechanism. It is a defense to give peace to your mind. And I don't know whether I'm making any sense, but it's a question that it's always in my mind that how unfair life is. And we can all do our little things in our life in giving, supporting, helping other people. But yet with say 70% of people living under poverty or not getting one meal a day.
Well, I think it's getting back to the point I was raising.
Yeah.
What attracted me to Hinduism, one of the big things was the whole concept of karma. It was the only way I could justify, like you're saying, why is somebody born into the middle of a famine in Somalia and someone else is born into a middle class family in America with all facilities? And then, and of course, we know it. They say you're creating your next life now, how it's going to be.
Yes.
And maybe the only thing I'm thinking, Gayatriprana, these people who have really intense suffering, maybe the only silver lining there is they're burning up.
The
a
karma
lot
is
of
quickly,
karma. And it's
fast. Yeah.
similar to a better situation. It's probably the only way.
Would you call it, would you call it rationalization?
No.
Well, it's affected by environment, affected
Yeah.
by human sort of thing. I mean, if you think like cabbages, our farmer, they grow cabbages. And out of cabbage, some cabbage are deformed because of environment, they don't have enough water, some don't have enough
No,
sun.
no, but some have got wrong genetics.
Yes, but again, it all depends on that personality. If you open many leaves, you open many experience, you are exposed to more and then learn more, and eventually you grow more.
Look, I understand what you're saying. So that's why I'm saying there is the genetics, there is the psychological aspects. We have to come to a peace in our own mind somehow so that we can accept things. If we don't, so we go to religion. Religion is a good crutch. It doesn't bite back at you. It doesn't have a conversation with you. It doesn't argue with you. So you can say, look, I'm putting this, I don't understand it, please help me. And I think it serves a very useful purpose in that sense.
I don't
But-
consider
Sorry?
Vedanta religion, me personally, I don't fall, anyone says me, I don't fall religion.
Sorry,
See,
whatever you want to call it.
Well,
There are more-
spirituality, to me, it's work, you've got to actually work.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't
I
just go
agree.
to you've got to put in the time and the hours and do the best.
and nobody can solve the problems of the world.
No.
Nobody can solve the problems of the world. The world is what we call the curly tail of the dog. You may try your best to solve the problem.
Yeah,
For the short time, it is reduced, but it'll back to the same.
yeah.
We had the First World War, and then came League of Nations to end all the wars. And what happened? Led to the next war.
I agree.
And then the Second World War, UN came, and now how many wars we had? So the world will continue like this. All we can do is try our best to help others, being unselfish.
I know. but
Being unselfish and pray for others, but we cannot solve the problems of the world. Why the world is so unfair? There's no answer.
Well, exactly, that's.
There's
what
no
I'm
answer to
saying.
that.
So we have to accept.
We have to accept and do whatever within our limits we do.
Yeah, but that is.
And saying that religion is a crutch, that's not the right attitude. No.
Your complaint is based on an untrue assumption, incorrect assumption. The incorrect assumption is that we are not in control.
Yeah.
Once you get this, there's no answer, there's always confusion. We are in control. Even
Yeah.
logically, there's one thing you can always do. If you really don't accept your situation, you can leave. You don't have to associate yourself with the body. You can leave. You really don't want to be here, you can be out. You can have nothing to do with it. You don't have any to the body. If you say you can't kill the body may continue to live. It's none of your business. You leave it alone.
that's
So you
all
are in control. You are here by choice. And
Well, you're not here by choice.
no, I'm not talking about your body. The fact that you have anything to do with this body, listen to me. The fact that you feel that you have anything to do with the body is a mistake. You are not a body. The body may be in all kinds of predicaments, good, bad, whatever. If you really don't want it, you don't have to. You don't need to have anything to do with your body. You can leave at any moment.
Look, I'm not denying it, and I know that there are plenty of people who take their life and are fully entitled to do that.
Sorry, there's a mistake there. When he says leave the body,
Yeah.
leave the identification with the body, not commit suicide. It's not okay. There's a difference. Not leave the identification with the body. Now we feel when I say I feel that I'm this body, mind. So if I understand correctly, what he means is leave the identification with the body. Then if you leave, I'm not the body, I am the self, I am the immortal self.
Yeah.
Then I don't have an identification with the body, and I try to see the self in all.
That's what we are learning in the Vedanta, isn't it, Mother?
Yes.
What we come to hear you or anybody, that's all. Because the modern kids,
I have, like kids and they always speak, but I think they may not go to the church or the temple or they always say, do good and be
Yeah.
good, mom.
Yeah.
Why do you have to do this? If you sit down and talk about somebody's kid, anything, they tell you off. They say, this is not you're doing it. You should only try to be good to the people who are not well and things.
Well,
And that's what their aim in life is.
And unselfishness is God.
Yeah.
Be unselfish. That you don't have to do any spiritual practices. You don't have to go to any temple. You don't have to go to any church. You don't have to pray at all. Be unselfish. That is enough.
And look, I agree 200% with what you're saying, and I practice it to the best of my ability. So what she's saying and what you're saying is nothing different. All I'm trying to say is that life is so unfair for so many people, whether you have control or you don't have control. And many people will tell you destiny, fate, we don't have control over what can happen. The bus has tumbled over, so many children have died. What control did they have?
Yeah.
So if you look at the real incidents in life, there are plenty of changes in our life and twists and turns where we don't have control. We don't even know they're going to
Have control how you can.
I mean,
Yeah.
We don't have control what happens, but we have control over how we respond to that.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is a different matter. There's a huge difference between that.
Yeah.
Saying that we have no control. or
Are
how we-
are you intending to control the fate of the whole world?
I'm not trying to do anything.
Then
I'm just
then
talking-
you concentrate on your idea. You make a little better person, improve.
Yeah.
That will spread slowly.
Look,
That's all we can do.
you don't-
We cannot change the whole world. We can do what we can change only ourselves.
Do you think I don't know that? I know this very well, that we cannot change the world. What I'm saying is it is hard to accept that there is so much unfairness. And all I'm saying is I do my best. Whoever knows me will tell you that I'm a psychiatrist. I've never charged patients any amount. I have done endless amount of work. I help out people. I donate. I give for congenital heart disease surgery. I do a lot of things and I believe in that. And I don't blow my trumpet. But all I'm trying to say is that life is unfair. That is where is the starting point.
The acceptance is part, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. That's
We
what
have
I'm
to accept
saying.
it, whatever it is.
Yeah, nobody is saying it is not.
That's all I say.
Yeah.
But I'm getting some kind of.
I mean, who got the judgment, what's unfair, what's fair? I mean, even the people that smell the little kids, you see have some food and they're smiling away.
They are so
Is
happy.
that fair? Yeah, happy. Under that environment, if you think that's unfair, well, so be it. That's the judgment.
No, I
really.
think you have to live in a person's shoes to know it or make any statement. You have to live through that. Live through how many people lost their parents with COVID, both mother and father and uncles and brothers and sisters. And now where do they belong? They're on the street.
Well, that's.
Now, when you say,
I know.
But what I'm saying, I come from a very poor family.
Yeah.
My mother, I tell you what I did. I didn't even know about what's butter, what's bacon, and what's coffee
Yeah.
in the village.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you need to, like Vivekananda said, you need to progress, you need to go forward. Don't be fearful, go forward. My mother said to me, you should not go there, should not come over here. Because if you come over here, who is going to work in the farm? That sort of thing. But irrespective of that, you have to move forward because you got a vision, you got a challenge,
Yeah.
you got a drive. And every person, whether you're poor from Somalia or from India, from China, you need.
Look, I'm not denying that. That is exactly, you're saying exactly what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
life is.
Therefore,
unfair.
judgment whether that's unfair, that's fair.
I think
It's very difficult.
you have to go back to the karma and vasana
Yes.
theory of the
No.
world.
Look, I know I've
Exactly.
discussed with Christians about the concept of evil. And oh my goodness, they get so tangled up. There's big conferences, theological discussions. And the answer they would give to me sometimes I could never accept. They'd say, oh, God moves in mysterious ways. You know, that's the way they'll. And of course, I could never accept that. So going back, you know, Hinduism in the end was the only one where I thought
Yeah.
the karma, the
Karma
theory of
and the
karma
vasana
is
is-
the way to try
We'll
to
explain the
account for it. And it's still hard.
It's
like
not
I'm
easy.
saying, I still don't get it. How come, all right, suffering, yes, there needs to be. Why so much? I still don't get it, but then we have to accept that is
That's
just
what
how
I'm
it
saying.
is. It's,
Accept it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
all their theories of how to make ourselves effective.
yeah.
Martha, I've got one more question for you.
Excuse me.
Sorry, we come with past impressions. Now, for someone small, how do you kill those impressions in the current life rather than bring it back?
See, when we speak about the karma theory, they say 3 types of karmas are there. Prarabdha karma is, we have got so many bundles of impressions, past impressions. Some in this particular life, we open one bundle.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't want to create more impressions in this life to carry forward in the next one.
That you had
How
to
do
have,
you kill those?
it's not. If you have self-realization, you have knowledge of your Atman, all your past impressions which are there in store are destroyed, are all destroyed, and no more impression is produced. Only the one present one which you have already, which what we call prarabdha karma, which has brought us in this life, to this life, this body, this incarnation, and which we are working out, that we have to work out. There is no way. Just because you have realized God, Holy Mother gives this example, Sri Ramkrishna gives this example. You have realized God, you have realized your Atman. You were born a blind person, but you did spiritual practice, you realized your Atman, you still remain blind. Because that's a prarabdha karma, which is already started working in this life. That you have to continue. There's no way you can avoid.
You don't want to carry something from this one to the next one.
That you can avoid creating new impressions.
Oh.
How, by realizing that you are not the body, you are the self, you are the Atman. When you have that realization, you won't be creating any more new impressions to carry to the next one.
Then you can have to draw a line. I think you have to draw a line in your mind that this is my maryada or my limit, and I'm not going to cross it. So if you just draw that line, like Lakshman Rekha, don't cross your maryada, don't cross your limit, and do good, be good, and be happy.
In Vedanta, there is thing called as Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampati, and Mookshukam. So if we understand the Viveka and Vairagya, and we focus on Shat Sampati, so ultimately you will not be deviated about thinking about, okay, should I be carrying forward what am I right?
This creating new impressions will stop only when you realize your true nature, that you are the Atman.
And when you realize your true nature is Atman, do you then come back for another life? Or is that?
If you realize that, you won't come back.
Right, then there's the solution.
That's the end.
That's the end. You will be free from the cycle of birth and death. No more birth, no more death.
Sounds good to me.
The whole life we become so disgusted and fed up with life, we don't want to come back anymore. That's what's
But
happening.
you got to work while you're here.
Yes, yes.
All right.
How many of us are going to get free of birth and life, birth and death in this life?
That is,
How many of us will get it?
as long as you have got any desire, even a small desire, you have to come back to fulfill that desire.
Anyway, look, thanks for all your questions and good discussion. Got a bit intense there, but it was good. It was good discussion. Thanks everybody for that.
Now we have some meditation.
Now we'll all settle down with some meditation. We can do a meditation. Just give me a moment. I've got a bit of setting up to do here for that.
What's light is light.
No, Robert has got light here.